So as I get back into product testing and trying different products and really trying to nail down what makes, or I already know what makes the Jimbo's Detailing brand different, but knowing and then communicating those differences are two different things, and communicating the differences is a little difficult for me, right? And so, but for the past month or 3 weeks or so, I've been doing a lot of product comparison videos, which I personally enjoy doing the most. I love just liquids. I know a lot of people like pressure washers, a lot of people like, foam cannons, a lot of people like, everyone kind of has their own flavor of what they like. And the one thing that I really enjoy myself is just liquids in the bottle. And so I'm very passionate about making different liquids and making the best liquids to my ability, and then the ability, of course, of my chemists and manufacturers and those relationships that I have. I'm very passionate about liquid in the bottle. That's kind of my thing. And so testing and product comparing and doing all that is something that I've done on my channel for a long time, and also something that I'm looking to bring back. Now, I'm looking, in full transparency, looking to bring it back with a different angle or a different twist than I used to. But one reoccurring theme that kind of kicked all the product testing off in the first place, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, was, and I used to say this all the time, do the claims on the label match what the liquid in the bottle does? And that's where I got a lot of these cheap versus expensive videos, and just kind of started comparing. And really all I would do is that I would see if the claims that were on the label matched what was going on with the liquid in the bottle. And what I found out a lot of the times is that there was two completely different things going on there. And then as I worked for a chemical manufacturer, and then I consulted for some global brands on a global scale and helped them with brand positioning and helped them with, hey, we're launching this new product into the market, but how do we launch it so it doesn't cannibalize our existing product line, or how do we do it so it, I was in those meetings and really worked for a chemical manufacturer before I started consulting with a global brand. Really worked with the chemical manufacturer, and that's really where I started to get jaded, because they were so shady and they just flat out would lie. They would lie to their customers. They would lie to the people that they were selling to, and then ultimately those people would, put false information on the label. And I really got jaded from that, because I just hated that. Like, why lie? Why not just make a better liquid? Right? Why do you have to say that your liquid is doing something? And one of the ones that I saw was Shine Armor, and they were taking a spray wax and they were calling it, something else. I forget what they were calling it at the time. And they were diluting a spray wax, 1 to 10 at the blending facility. And then they were diluting it so much the color was basically not there and it looked diluted. So then they would re-dye it and add more dye in to make it look more concentrated. And I'm just like, why do that, right? Why deceive the public like that? And ultimately I thought, and my feeling was, if you actually had really good marketing and you had really good liquids in the bottle, you would explode. And in fact, I tested this with a couple private label clients and it absolutely worked. I gave them a better liquid in the bottle, a better price, better customer support, and their brands exploded. And because their brands exploded, I did very well in the private label space, right? And so from there, that was kind of my experimenting grounds. And that's when I thought, man, I'll just do my own brand, right? I never wanted to do my own brand, but there's some complexities with private labeling, and there's basically zero loyalty with private labeling. So you may have a customer this month and this order, and you might not have a customer next month or on their next order. And that happens. And so there's no consistency, there's no loyalty, or very little loyalty, depending upon the brands that you're working with. And so to create some stability in my life, I realized that I can't just be doing private labeling, create that stability through creating my own brand. And so that kind of brings us to present day. And so as I bring back this product testing, these product comparisons, not to bash or put brands down at all, but to show and use it as an example of how my product brands are different. And, like I've been showing, comparing Wax and Relax, which is my new product, to other products in the seemingly same category. What I've found out and what I'm kind of realizing is where a lot of the confusion for the detailing industry stems from. And this really kind of hit ahead last week when I did a product, the Superior Products Formula 4 Spray Wax, which is what it's called. And I got stumbled on the dilutions. Now, look, I've been a professional detailer for more years than 18 years or something like that. I am more than comfortable experimenting with dilutions. I am more than comfortable with, messing cars up. I do research and development for myself. I do R&D for other brands. I'm extremely comfortable being handed a product that the chemist is unsure what the results are going to be and kind of figure that out. I've dozens and dozens and probably hundreds of times now, I've been handed a liquid in a bottle and been asked to create dilution ratios, instructions, directions, all that. I am more than comfortable with doing that. When it comes to showcasing this and doing a YouTube video on this, especially when it comes to doing it compared to my own brand, what I have to do, I think, to be ethical, is I have to follow the directions that the manufacturers are given. And beyond that, I have to follow the directions that the manufacturer have readily available to me so that I take on the approach as a consumer, not a professional detailer. Though, like in the Superior 4 video, I will kind of, after I follow the manufacturer's directions, I will kind of off-label use and kind of try to figure things out myself because that's what I like to do. However, from a starting base, I have to follow those directions and instructions. And what I've found out, not just with Superior, but with many other products, and I'm reminded constantly of the Meguiar's Blue Bottle hybrid ceramic coating, spray coating, I think it's called, and their confusing directions and instructions and people being confused. And what I realized is that this is where a lot of confusion stems from, and a lot of people that are just picking up the bottles and a lot of people that are watching YouTube videos and trying to figure out how to detail on their own get stumbled up because they don't have the experience that a lot of professionals do. They don't have that confidence in experimenting. And so they go off of what the manufacturer recommends on the label, not calling the manufacturer, having a discussion, doing all that. Who does that? No one. One comment suggested that in that video. Well, I should have called the manufacturer and I should have clarified with the manufacturer about the dilution ratios. And one, that completely defeats the purpose of a quick and easy to use product. Two, even if I do that, depending upon who I get at the manufacturer, they could have different answers. They could not have experience. I mean, I've worked at product manufacturers. If I tried to call them, the chance of me getting a straight answer is literally 50-50. Sometimes you just get a front desk person and they don't have experience with that product, or that product brand has an extensive line and that person may not have had any experience with that product or enough experience in the detailing space or car washing space to be able to troubleshoot with you on the phone. It's a total crapshoot. Even if I got someone good on the phone, that's just information for me. Sure, I could put it in a YouTube video, but that's not sufficient. The directions on the label need to be sufficient, and or with a QR code to a video explaining it. That's why before I was doing these wax and relax videos, went through pretty much my whole entire product line, it's only 7 products, right there, right up there. And I did a deep dive in each and every one of my products that I then put on the product page so that you guys would have all the information as clear as day, exactly how to use it, way beyond what's on the label. And even what's on the label is incredibly clear, at least the clearest I could make it, for how I think best use case scenarios are. Obviously, with directions and instructions, you're not going to be able to, figure out every single use case, right? I'm not going to put on the super soaper label that you can put it, in your windshield wiper fluid reserve, right? That is an off-label use. With toughest shell, yes, you can use it diluted 1-to-1 as a quick detail spray. I don't have that on the label because I give best use case scenario on the label. This is how I would use it. Can the super soaper be diluted? Can you use 2 ounces instead of 4 ounces in a foam cannon? Yes, you can. And you could stretch your soap a lot further, right? Is that the best use case scenario? Not in my opinion, so I didn't put it on the label, right? But when we have confusing directions like, spray it on spray it on a car and rinse it off. But actually for the foundational layer, spray it on a dry car. And then after that initial layer, you could spray it on a wet car and spread it with water. That's a little confusing, right? Or, a 1 to 10 dilution, but make sure that you use 6 to 8 ounces. And it's like, what? Like, okay, I could try to figure that out. I can kind of guess, but this is where confusion happens. And then what I'm learning is that through this confusion, everyone, and you can check the comments on that Superior video, and I'm not picking on Superior at all. It's just the most recent memory for me, right? Even down to the name. Formula 4 spray wax. It's not a spray wax. Everyone in the comments, we all agree it doesn't offer protection. That is not the strong suit of that product. Again, it is not a bad product. I had 1 or 2 comments of people, saying that I said it was inferior to Wax and Relax. I started out the video by saying these aren't even comparable products because they're 2 different categories, even though they think they, on the surface, seem like it's the same category, right? 2 different categories. But Formula 4 spray wax is not a spray wax. It's actually a drying aid. It's actually a way to prevent water spots from getting on your car. It's a way for, I would just call it a drying aid, right? It's not a protection product. It is not a spray wax. That's where the confusion can start. I think they have a messaging problem. I'm reminded a long time ago, I did a Eagle One, had a phenomenal iron remover. Super good, super cheap. They had a messaging problem because they called it a Plasti Dip remover. Plasti Dip remover. It was an iron remover. The label was totally wrong. If you could find, and shocker, the product doesn't exist anymore. Not because the liquid in the bottle wasn't good. It's because they named it the wrong thing. They were in auto parts, and the brand Eagle One didn't know what they had in the bottle, which seems crazy, but that is the reality of the situation. A lot of times, these brands launch products and they don't even know what's in the bottle, or they don't have someone there on their team saying, hey, this isn't really a spray wax. This is more of a drying aid. I think we should hit the drying aid angle. We should kind of rename this. And that goes into a whole nother thing that I saw with corporate and companies is that people are afraid to step up to their boss and say, hey, maybe the boss named it a spray wax. Maybe the owner named it a spray wax. I have no idea. And so people aren't comfortable, rightfully so, by the way, going up against that and saying, this isn't really a spray wax. That is friction. That is risking your job in a sense, right? To go against it. It's much easier to just, hey, let's ship it. Let's go, And so, but as that trickles down to the consumer, that gets very, very, very confusing. And then what we do as brands is we start to tack on like these technology claims, right? I always use the one because I think it's a parody of like disappearing technology, right? And so whether that's Turtle Wax calling their 100 wash technology or whatever, or Cerakote talking about their special polymer that they react, which may or may not be true, I don't know. And so we start adding technology claims on top of those things. And so that creates even more confusion because it's like, well, do I want something with graphene technology? Like, does that do anything? It just adds to the confusion instead of being very, very clear. So one thing that, I'm dead set on, and one thing I work really, really hard on, part of my R&D process, is not only do I want products to be quick and easy and deliver a great result, but I don't want you to have to relearn so many things, right? It's not supposed to take a bunch of work. I don't believe, some brands do believe this, that if a product is harder to use, more people will like it because they think they're getting a better result, right? But I think there is some truth to that. I really do. If the product smells worse, if it's more difficult to work with, if you need a certification, that product is more valuable, right? However, I just hold the approach that I don't think that is true. And I'll use a paste wax, for example. A paste wax is much harder to use, much more difficult to use, much more labor intensive, but you actually get less durability. You get less benefits of it, and it's more work, right? So for me and my product line, one of the big overarching differentiators is you do not need a college degree to know how to use them or figure out how to use them. You don't need to call me to figure out how to use them because I put a lot of instructions and directions on the label, and then every product page has a best use video, right? So you can watch the video at your leisure. because part of me thinks you don't really want to call me either, right? And so you want to be able to figure that out on your own. And then I think the product should be so easy and deliver such a great result that you want to come back over and over and over and use the product, and not only use the product, but buy more of the product, buy a bigger size, right? And I think about it. I took my truck off-roading this weekend and it was covered in mud and dirt and gross. And my father-in-law goes, this dirt is the worst to clean off too. It just seems like it sticks everywhere and it's just a nightmare. And when I cleaned my truck, because I used a super soaper, because I used Tough Shell and Wax and Relax, because it's coated with a gloss boss, right? Like I've done a lot of work like leading up to it. It was actually no different to clean my truck after going off-roading than it was just on a weekly basis, because I had laid the foundation and I have my systems down, and then I have chemistry and products that actually deliver, right? So it was no more work, right? And so again, I want products that are easy to use. That is my big differentiator. Easy to use. You don't have to have a college degree to learn how to use them, and they just simply work. And that's how I think products should work, right? But what I'm realizing as I do these product comparisons is that, and it's making it easier for me, because what I'm learning is that before I just used to take a product for what it is. Oh, it says it's a spray wax. It's a spray wax. But as I'm realizing, and as I do my research, and as I develop these videos and comparisons, I realize the product and the liquid in the bottle isn't always what the label says it is. And so if I can highlight that, it doesn't make the product bad. Let me be clear again. I don't think Wet Coat, Protector Wax, Superior 4, I don't think any of those products are bad at all. I think they're different. And so highlighting those differences is what I'm interested in. And so I think, and I would encourage brands to kind of, make sure their directions and instructions are legit, improved, thorough, right? Because that will make people they won't be disappointed in their product if they're expecting it to be a paint protection and then it's not, right? And so though my testing isn't perfect, I will admit that, I do my best, especially when I'm comparing it to my own products, to follow the manufacturer's instructions and directions. And so in doing that, what I found out is some of these products aren't what they say they are, and that's okay, as long as we can find out what they actually are, right? So again, kind of a rant, but I wanted to get that out there. I wanted to explain that, and I think that's where a lot of confusion in the detailing space comes from. Even when you read the instructions and directions, people then comment, well, that's not really how you use it. And it's like, well, how are we supposed to know that? By doing hours of research on a product? Why can't we put some of the responsibility back onto the manufacturer to say, hey, you have plenty of room on your label. Can you just fill me in a little bit? Hey, if this is only meant for tunnel washes and that's why it's not on the shelf, then maybe we shouldn't be using it in a foam cannon. Or if we do use it in a foam cannon, can you tell us best case to use in a foam cannon so that we can get a better use out of it, so that we can get what you expect us to get out of it? That would be really nice, right? And it would help cut down the confusion. I think it would clean up our industry a little bit, and it would help brands sell more product, I think. And so, I don't know. If I'm way off base, let me know in the comments below. If you're hearing what I'm saying, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, feelings, and emotions on this. And with that, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Don't forget, we still have the Wax and Relax pre-sale going on, shipping probably within a week or two. But for now, it's still 20% off with code RELAX. You could go to jimbosdetailing.com, use code RELAX, and get 20% off on that. Thank you for everyone for the pre-sale purchases. Promise you're going to love it. And with that, I'll catch you guys on the next one.